What do you see when I show you this image? You're probably thinking motion capture, and you'd be right. Kind of. Let me explain. When we're talking about motion capture, a lot of people swiftly assume they just put on a goofy outfit, a special animate button is pressed, and that's it. Job done. But this couldn't be further from the truth. See, we have all these incredible references and motion capture data, but the data itself is not production ready. Well, why is that? Let's look at this scene, for example. Notice the repositioning and timing of Ruffalo's performance. The hand is in a completely different spot. Not to mention, the Hulk here is gigantic in comparison to Ruffalo's motion capture data. So how is this performance converted to the final product you see on screen? To understand this, we first need to understand what motion capture actually is. When an actor is performing in a suit like this, the cameras are able to read exactly where they are in 3D space and translate all of this information to a base skeleton. This is thanks to the high contrast markings like these retroreflected balls and symbols. So once the camera stops rolling, this skeleton becomes the foundation. There's no character model, no muscle, hair, or cloth, just a blank canvas for the VFX artist to transform. This is where the title of this video comes in. There's an immense amount of artistry and behind the scenes workflows that no one really talks about. So today, we're going to hone in and cover one of the methods that was monumental when creating Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, damn.
You stop. What are you doing right now? Are you doom scrolling Twitter? Well, while you're there, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. You know the deal by now. Raid is console level gaming on your phone. They've got bosses, PvP, dungeons, campaigns now. That's actually sick. Not to mention over 600 champions to build out your dream team. Let's go over my champions. Number 1, Coronel. This overgrown beastman is one of the strongest tank controllers in Raid. Plus, I mean, look at this thing. I feel like if I stop playing this game, it's gonna manifest at the base of my bed and take me hostage. Number 2, Tatura Rhymehide. This guy is basically a decked out support character and is amazing for the Doom Tower. Plus, bro's a bear and a lion. Need I say more? If you're still not sure about Raid, well, now is like the month to give it a shot because there's a bunch of new features available right now. For example, we've got Awakening. This lets you awaken your champions and give them some powerful blessings, which is super cool. Plus, they have a new brutal dungeon, the Iron Twins Fortress. Not only that, but there's also an entirely new champion, Ultimate Death Knight. Everyone can get this guy for free just by logging in. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and October 27th, and he is all yours. They've even given me this promo code DKRises to instantly level up your favorite champion to level 50. If you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is click the link in the description or scan the QR code and you'll get a really cool hero named Vergis. You'll get 200,000 silver, an energy boost, an energy refill, and 1 ancient shard so you can summon an awesome champion as soon as you get into game. All of this will be waiting for you here at the links in the description. Oh, and remember, these rewards are only good for 30 days. Hit the link and you can start playing Raid on PC or mobile today. The method I'm talking about is known as rotomation, and this was used in a ton of VFX shots for the creation of Spider-Man No Way Home. VFX supervisor Kelly Port explains.
Lands, we basically what's called rotomation, which is your frame by frame matching what Tom's doing, what his action and performance is, and then you're creating the Spider-Man version of that, which is where he's wearing this Iron Spider suit.
Now that was a super quick explanation of what rotomation actually is. So the term rotomation is a combination of rotoscoping and 3D animation. Rotoscoping, of course, is the art of frame by frame tracing. I think the most distinguishable version of this can be found in the music video for Take On Me. Essentially, live action footage being transferred or rotoscoped to 2D line work. These days, rotoscoping is now heavily used in VFX workflows, and we now have the amalgamation of 3D in conjunction with rotoscoping to arrive at rotomation.
Damn, you fine as hell. Hey yo, think I can get your
Are you serious, my brother?
TLDR, it's 3D animation frame by frame with reference. So now that we know the method and what it is, let's quickly hop into Blender and go through the workflow.
Anderson 76-ish.
So the workflow is actually pretty straightforward, and for simplicity's sake, I'm going to cover this as an overview in 3 steps. To actually rotomate, you first need a piece of footage or reference point. I'm using this, but I highly recommend you either film yourself or find a clip online that you think looks interesting.
Good night, girl. I'll see you tomorrow.
So once you have your clip, open up Blender and come over to the motion tracking workspace. From here, load in your footage and we can move on to step 2. For my scene here, there isn't too much motion or any at all, but you may have a scene where you have a bunch of parallaxing or subtle movements that you need to camera track. This is one of the more important steps because you need to have a good camera track to actually ground your character in the scene and perform the rotomation accurately. If you have a locked off shot with no parallaxing or movement, you can skip this step entirely. In my opinion, camera tracking deserves its own full-length tutorial, so for now I'd highly recommend checking out these amazing tutorials, and we can move on to step 3. This is the part that's going to take the majority of your time when doing rotomation. First, you're going to need a rig to animate with. Lucky for us, Blender is completely free, and they also have a ton of free resources like this character rig page on their site. So I'll download this one and load it into my Blender scene. Now, I can't exactly walk you through start to finish on this entire process, so I'll cover the foundations and key elements to get you started with rotomation. Like with all animation, it's imperative to get your key poses down first. So I'll scrub the timeline to find extreme poses and begin the process of rotomation by simply lining up my character model with the reference footage. In most scenarios, you're not going to have a rig that exactly matches the proportions of your subject, but this is totally fine. We just need to get it as close as we can. Once done with your key poses, the next stage is blocking. Shut up! Shut up! This is where we put the in-between frames for each key pose. It's also sometimes called a breakdown or a passing pose. Essentially, we're trying to get the movement to look as good as it can while we're still in the constant interpolation. Lastly, once your in-betweens are done, we have the splining phase. This is where we move the interpolation from constant to spline, or in Blender, is known as Bezier. This is going to smooth out your keyframes. It then just becomes a process of tweaking and polishing your keyframes in the graph editor until you get the desired result you want. Now, obviously, this is just scratching the surface of what is capable with rotomation and how it is used to transform modern day film. But all this information means nothing if you don't know how to use the animation tools in Blender. And to find out how to do that, you'll want to watch this video right here.